I'm Bob Titzler. I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota. I served in the Peace Corps in Nigeria between 1963 and 65. The town that I was stationed in, teaching at a secondary school, is Ijebu-Ode, and it's about midway between the cities of Lagos and Ibadan in the western. It was a pleasure to teach the students at the secondary school, but I also appreciated the vacation times when we had an opportunity to do something other than teach. I had the opportunity to work along with a physician who was heading up a mission hospital not too far from Djibouti. And he inculcated in me an additional kind of love for helping people. And when I finished with the Peace Corps, I went to medical school, and I am currently a retired physician.
My name is Renata Schultz. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in 1963 to 1965 in Nigeria. Nigeria 7, served at Ife Grammar School in Ife Esenihite, and as I mentioned, came back in 65 and went again last year in 2011 to Mali and got evacuated 2 weeks ago because of the political coup d'etat. Between 1965 and 2012, the Peace Corps has changed very, very much. I mean, if you were years ago, then you will know that they dropped you at your site, and there you were, and that was it. Yeah. Well, they're kind of mothering you now. I mean, everything is prescribed. Another thing that was new to me, they do have condoms in the medical kit now, which we did not have in '65, and they heavily encourage your use of them. And of course, with the AIDS crisis, you certainly agree with that. But the major thing that has changed is that it has become more bureaucratic. It has become more prescribed. The activities that you can do more legalistic than it was. I mean, 1965, we still did what we wanted to do. You no longer do that. Okay.
My name's Alan Palutzian, and I served in Nigeria from 1964 to 1966, and I was an agricultural volunteer assigned to the Ministry of Agriculture. Primary projects included raising rabbits. We had a rabbitry, and I would work I lived in Ibadan, which was a major city. And my lifestyle was pretty good, I'll have to say that, compared to many other volunteers, because I lived in a large city. I did have running water, I had electricity, of course all these things when the weather was good. But I had a rabbitry, and we went out to nearby villages and got youth established in rabbit projects, building rabbit hutches, and we'd give them bred rabbits so they could raise their own. We did the same thing with chicken coops and so forth, where we would give them chickens, start the youth in chicken projects where they would have layers, because there was such a deficiency in protein in their diets. By raising rabbits and eating rabbits and getting the layers with the eggs, good source of protein for the village people. And so that was those were primary projects. Had secondary projects working on silage with a dairy in Lagos, the capital of Nigeria, and so forth. Overall, my experience was incredible, and I'll have to say that it was truly a life-changing experience. When I came back, I aimed myself on a career in international, and I ended up in international finance. But I'll have to say that the experience that I had in Peace Corps was incredible. It was life-changing. It set the foundation for my future development, and I can't say enough about it. So much so that actually, after I retired from my normal job, I went back to recruiting for the Peace Corps for a few years, which I enjoyed very much. So I can't say enough about the organization. Thank you.
Lambert, I was in the Peace Corps in Nigeria from 1964 to 66. I was teaching in a secondary school in a village called Bamadi. The largest city of any consequence near there was Warri. Benin was not too far away, it was the capital of the region. I was back from 1968 to 70 teaching at a university, and I'm headed back in August to teach at another university after not having been in Nigeria for a long, long time.
How did you happen to decide to go back in August after such a long time?
Well, I'm retired as a professor at the University of Alaska, and there seemed to be a need at a very dynamic, fairly new university called the American University of Nigeria. And I don't know, one thing led to another, and the president of that university has been in touch with me and sort of encouraged me to come. And again, I'm retired, so why not? I lived in an idyllic village in the Niger Delta, pristine, beautiful place on the banks of the Niger River, teaching in a secondary school, and that place that's where oil was since discovered and has been terribly despoiled. And in general, I would say for Nigeria in the early 60s, there was enormous optimism, and it's been unlucky. The country has had an unlucky recent history, last 40 years of history.
I'm Mike Brown. I'm Nigeria 12. I was an ag volunteer. The Ministry of Agriculture and the Young Farmers Clubs, things like that. Well, I was the director of the Young Farmers Clubs, and that's what I did.
My name is Phyllis Noble. I was a Peace Corps volunteer in Nigeria, 1965 to 1967. This was Nigeria 17. We trained at Michigan State University in East Lansing. Waking up every morning and while I was having my breakfast, listening to the students singing the national anthem and songs sung to Isoko melodies every morning. I can still sing one. Isoko, Isoko retene, makpobi mararadi, la da 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 dum. I don't remember the words.
I'm Barbara Belding. I was a volunteer in Nigeria in 1965 and 66, and I was an English teacher and a librarian.
Hi, I'm Spencer Allison. I served in Nigeria in 1965 and 1966. I was a teacher, did chicken co-ops and bridges, did the whole Peace Corps thing.
My name is Linda Coughlin. My original Peace Corps tour was in Bakana, the eastern region of Nigeria. I arrived in 1966, and I was a high school math teacher at a girls' secondary school. Because of the civil war in Biafra, I was evacuated, and so I spent the second year doing the same thing in Tanzania. I have also completed 4 Peace Corps response volunteers. I did 1 month in Katrina, and then 6 months in Jamaica, 6 months in St. Kitts, and I recently came back from 6 months in Liberia.
My name is Charlene Baldwin. I was in Nigeria 24, stationed in Lalupan, Western Nigeria from 1966 to 1968. It was an AG-RD program. I was married at the time. And 2 things about our years of service that might be unique to Peace Corps is that first I was married when I went in, and my husband was disabled, and the Peace Corps took him anyway, and he was an amazing role model for Nigerians. And we had a baby the last 6 weeks we were there, and so that was another experience that the villagers really identified with. We've been back in 1975, 1986, My son then walked there from East Africa in 1995, and I went on the Fawn reunion tour in 2008 with my son, who is now 43, and his daughter, who was 11, and she now has met a third generation of Lalupan villagers.